Welcome to Get Serious. So today, just a common theme I'm running through with myself is just how do I free up more time within the business for myself and my team to focus on the biggest blocks that are going to move us forward much more significantly, especially like the system building and various AI workflows that are just choppy to knock out, or still working on various marketing and sales strategies and tactics. Actually, implementation for land pricers, my product team is like nearly done building it out, and I'm just still feeling so behind the ball on having to take care of random urgencies, with deals that come up where people are sending pretty complex deals over for funding. I need to take a look at those various calls that need to be made. um, and just trying to figure out how can I get to these next steps? Do I need, when, like, what would it actually look like to make some other type of hires here? Who should I even be hiring on top of what my core team is at the moment? And like, we've just kind of expanded a little bit too. Like, I already have, these two engineers with, including the CTO for land pricer. I have my core VA for, um, Serious Land Capital. We also have, we've been working with this web developer slash SEO guy for well over a year at this point for all of our websites. But now we're just, because we get so much organic traffic, it's like, okay, we're upping our monthly expense into SEO and GEO as well. So we have him, more consistent as a contractor within our firm. And then, all the various brokers and, land investor clients who are working with us, and we try to pass along various tasks for them too. But, that requires a lot of back and forth, even though like the overall headcount, like it seems small, but there's just so many moving pieces, and we're managing a lot more people than our technical org chart would look like. But I keep going back. I think everybody's kind of heard, your zone of genius. Focus on your zone of genius. Dan Sullivan, who not how type mentality. Sure, that is what we're always trying to orient to. But in practice, like, and it's a skill deficiency, I would just say, like, it's hard for me to figure out how do I more consistently, like, only work in the zone of genius and try to offload the other things when you're trying to balance cash flows and various profits that you want to take home, or just, bringing more cash into the business, or offloading to your current staff and so forth, or just new things that are coming up that just, need attention, but are they really repeatable? I don't know. So I need to break that down a bit more going forward. And I don't think I ever fully listened to it, but I think I saw a headline somewhere, and this is a Layla Hormozi thing, where it's like, you just have to note down every minute of your day, really, really, really break it down. And not every day is going to be the same, but to me, I thought about this a lot more today, and starting to account, okay, every single task that is coming my way, I need to note it, and I'm going to break it down, whether it is in my zone of genius or a Sharon Street Vatsa type thing. Is it in the zone of resentment? Things that, like, I feel I need to do, but they bring my energy down more. And even though I'm probably like capable at them, or just need to grind through it, but they would classify as a zone of resentment. And then tests that are just kind of in between, things that I don't mind doing. I don't resent them, but they're also not like zone of genius. They're not really driving us forward. They can probably be delegated out. And so I just want to start breaking down everything that I'm doing on a daily basis, and anything that's new that comes in. Do this over the course of a week, or multiple weeks, and start noting down: is this a ZOG, zone of genius? Is it a ZOR, zone of resentment? Or is it just a just a mutual, just a blah, just a task? And then I can start to orient first off the zone of resentment. Is this something that I can hire out for first? And can I batch some of these together into a specific role? Or can it go to a current team member and just re-strategize our overall system and who is handling what particular task? So that would be the first thing, and then knock out the other pieces that are not within my zone of genius, just kind of the blah, the neutral tasks that that need to get done as well. And those would be further up the chain because they're less stress on me specifically. But I don't know. You also have to kind of weigh it because maybe some zone of resentment tasks only take me, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes a day or something. Whereas some of these just blah neutral tasks might be like an hour and a half. And so all of a sudden, what's the bigger leverage point for the business? Can I just eat some pain for 5 to 10 minutes versus freeing up more of just an hour and a half to get more into zone genius? That's the trade-off there. So you have to start weighing both the actual time as well as where you would consider that task to be. And then I have to start mapping that out. All right, who can I start offloading this to? That's always the question, right? Or can this be more of an AI workflow? And what do I need to strategize to get that thing built out? And I just realized, like, if I don't do this and force myself to do this, like, I am going to be, stuck in the same place, kind of, the low to mid 7-figure swamp revenue, healthy business, but it just requires me to be constantly putting in the effort because I haven't done enough of the work to systematize further and reorient my team. Like, this is probably the number one issue that I'm thinking about at the moment, besides, booking sales, right? That's our gotta get cash flow. But once those things are kind of off my mind, or I've done as much as I could on those areas, then it's like, okay, talent acquisition or adjusting systems has to be the next open question to consider. And then you just keep noting things down, and okay, when can I find people to or systems to knock off these tasks? And then the goal is to be I don't know, does anybody in any business, like, no, regardless the size, like, ever get to where they're only working on their zone of genius? I feel like that's a bit of a pipe dream, that there's always going to be something that doesn't like quite fit, or something in your life that's just a bit outside of it, and that's going to require responsibility. But I think that should be the goal, right? Like, you're orienting towards this, potential pipe dream of like only working on zone of genius type stuff. And, the better you get, the more your zone of genius can change as well. It's a 10x mindset, of course. And, offload more and more of, what you shouldn't be doing. And that's really the only way to fully grow. So that's just the system I kind of arrived at today, but I actually need to go through the work and note things down accordingly to figure out how to do this, because I know that's what the best businesses do. And I'm actually, pretty excited to actually think about it, because if you don't measure what you're doing, like, it's never going to get done. And, already trying to think, the zone of genius type stuff, like, am I ever fully going to give up underwriting? In some capacities, yes, but final say, like, within the industry, I think there's like a special skill that I have that like, it truly is, with a certain humility to say it, but like, I think that is my zone of genius. And then a number of the content production and the way I'm able to convey ideas over, these podcasts, newsletters, etc., like, the positive sentiment is, notable. And that's not something I think I could offload without it completely going into the tank. So I think those are the kind of orientations I need to focus on, and then just the general kind of visionary aspects. Where can I really take the business to the next level, larger deals, certain relationships, and so forth. But what calls are worth my time versus not, that needs to be more rigorously examined. So I will let you know my process on starting to handle this. And actually, I can probably just starting to have a running task within AI. And now that Notion can connect directly to Claude, I'm actually just live thinking about this, that I can just have a living document and it can start orienting me towards, okay, have you taken care of these tasks? And, what are you tracking here? And have like actual check-ins for me to stay on point here. This is a very intriguing idea. So I'm going to get on it. I will let you know my progress now that I've had to set my public accountability in this direction here. We'll check in. With that, seriousland.capital for any of your funding needs. 50K minimum buy price, 150K plus preferred, 2x gross conservative margin, and land daily diligence for zero cost review of your land deals, and landpricer.ai, the most reliable land pricing tool on the market. With that, subscribe and share. Take care, everybody. Bye.